Good evening, Shortcuts. This is Stephen here with video 1 for February 8th. The Shortcuts, Japanese and more tonight. Vinyl list featuring jazz, reggae, soul and blues. First things first though, just a call out to the mighty Tom Verlaine, lead singer and co-lead guitarist of Television, one of the greatest bands, released one of the greatest albums, Marquee Moon, in 1977. Managed to catch them live in the Queen Elizabeth Hall on the South Bank of London many moons ago, and I still remember it fondly. What a band. All right, for tonight, a very, very smorgasbord like mix of dips and sauces. Let's start here. A lot of new things tonight that I've never had before, so listen in. All right, how about this? Oliver Nelson, The Blues and Abstract Truth, 1961, Impulse Records, hard cardboard gatefold with the full story of the record laid out in some truly beautiful liner notes by, I'm not sure who the writer is, but it's a beautiful breakdown of every song, its structure and why it works, including the stone cold classic that is the opening track, Stolen Moments. Freddie Hubbard, Eric Dolphy, Bill Evans. Yeah, what a copy this is. Now, this, of course, is the Oliver Nelson before he became the big band, I guess, aficionado. This is the Oliver Nelson who was a jazz saxophonist of true renown. And you often see that record in the top 10 list of the greatest jazz records of all time. And I was lucky enough to get a couple of copies. One of them's on my shelf because it's really something else. Highly, highly love that record. I love this. So I've already spoken about the tragic story of King Curtis supporting Aretha Franklin live at the Fillmore West, releasing a better album than Aretha's live at the Fillmore West, and unfortunately getting stabbed to death on the stoop of his apartment in New York City 2 weeks after this record was released. Cornell Dupree, Billy Preston, and the mighty King Curtis on tenor saxophone. It's a spectacular record. And that is a Japanese first press. Another Japanese first press, Tom Waits, his fourth album, Small Change, that features as an opening track a song that compares with Stolen Moments in its all-time greatness, is Tom Tribert's Blues. The story of Tom Waits' drunken night with Matilda on the streets of Copenhagen, as he describes in the parenthesis title after Tom Tribert's Blues, 4 sheets to the wind in Copenhagen. What a night that must have been. Not my favourite song on this record, though. My favourite song on this record is The Piano Has Been Drinking, Not Me. Now, a while ago I was invited onto a podcast called Music Talks in the UK. And I describe going to see Tom Waits in concert. If any of you would like the link to that podcast, sing out. The rumor is that's Elvira, the dark goddess of the night. Never confirmed. All right, what about this? Jimmy Smith and Wes Montgomery, as it says on the back here, the dynamic duo, daredevil deeds by the incredible Jimmy Smith and the incomparable Wes Montgomery. This is their debut album they did together. And the link, of course, back to Oliver Nelson, who arranged and conducted the orchestra that supports those two jazz, soul and blues greats. Now, talking about jazz and blues greats, what about this? The debut album by Cream, Fresh Cream, 1976 stereo repress. The holy grail of this record, of course, being finding an early mono repress, but they truly are hen's teeth. I think this is a better record than Disraeli Gears, even though Disraeli Gears is held in higher renown. I think this is, forgive the fun, fresher than Disraeli Gears, and is well worth listening. And this is, you can see the gleam on this one's beautiful copy. Fresh Cream. Now, this may well be my favorite record that we have tonight. This is a Japan-only variation on a 1969 compilation called The Story of the Blues. Part of the reason I love this very, very much is it's an amazing sleeve and has the most detailed notes on the artists that make up the story of the blues. The names of these artists being even more entertaining in some cases than the songs they're singing. For example, let's see, Blind Lemon Jefferson or Peg Leg Howell. I often think, how did Peg Leg Howell lose his leg? I think there's a story. Barbecue Bob and Laughing Charlie, and they sing a song saying it won't be long. Bertha Chippy Hill. It's Petey Wheatstraw. It's amazing. Now, what's even more special, other than the cardboard, is it is a true white label promo. You can see there it says sample, not for resale. It looks to me like it's never been played before. All right, some more hard cardboard goodness. This is Joni Mitchell's, I think it's her 11th record into the early 80s. The acclaimed While Things Run Fast. Still with the likes of Wayne Shorter and others supporting, still with that melodic sensibility and that storytelling that doesn't border on genius. It is genius. Talking about genius, a very different type of genius. This is another white label promo. This has never been sold on Discogs ever before. Very, very few copies of this. This is a white label promo of Donny Hathaway in performance. Well, you know, legendary Donny Hathaway, a troubled human being, but the opening track of this record to be Young, Gifted and Black, which of course was a song written by Nina Simone, but Donny Hathaway's live interpretation here is worth the price of entry alone. It's pretty special. So that's something for you soul lovers out there, and include another soul. Actually, there's a few soul classics in a row here. An early Japanese pressing of Ray Charles' greatest hits, or a beautiful Aussie copy of Billy Paul's Only the Strong Survive, one of the great soul vocalists of the 70s. Or how about this? A Japanese pressing of arguably one of the greatest compilations of all time, the best of Booker T and the MGs. This is the Japanese first press and features everything in Japanese for you to consume. But it sounds wonderful. Now, there's something a little bit different. This is a collection of roots reggae, starting with the award-winning Steel Pulse, with maybe their best album, Tribute to the Martyrs, and then some a little bit more obscure, the last probably being most interesting. But this band, Culture, and this is Culture U, which I think is their debut, which is a really kind of harsher edge, roots reggae. Now I've got quite the selection of Culture, and I think they're bloody brilliant. This is U-Roy. This is a Jamaican press of his 1979 Roots reggae record, Version Galore. You can see here that's a festival import. It's on the original label though. Those first two I think are on Trojan, but you can see here this is on the front line label, and very enjoyable it is too, but this is probably the highlight of the bunch. This is on the Trojan label. I find the Trojan label just such an appealing label. I'll put it the right way around. There it is. And this is Yawush's Religious Dread, a very rare and very highly regarded roots reggae classic. Now, a couple of special little records to finish. A really nice US pressing of the best of Muddy Waters on the Chess label. And then finally, I always come back to this. This is in my top, I think, 2 or 3 Miles Davis records. Every time I see it, I grab it because it's wonderful. With Thelonious Monk, with Horace Silver, with Sonny Rollins. It's Bags Groove by Miles Davis. It does what it says on the tin. It grooves, and it's wonderful. Listen, that's a 1976 pressing. Now, there you go. As I said, make sense of all of that, but thank you for listening in. And maybe a few things caught your eye. If you have any questions, give me a shout, as always. Lots of love. And if you've never listened to television's Marquee Moon, go forthwith and put on the song Friction and listen to maybe the greatest guitar, bass and drums 4 minutes that you'll ever hear. All right, talk to you soon. Thank you. Bye.